AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from downtown Baton Rouge.
Let's ride!
Try that. And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Tigers win, but it was sluggish. Kellen Moore dropped his debut as the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Peter Burns next hour. Jeff Duncan in hour number 3. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, as the saying goes, a win is a win. But it was sloppy. And my goodness, was LSU's win over Louisiana Tech costly. And I'm not talking about the $1.6 million LSU paid the Techsters to come on down from Ruston and take that L. Braylon Moore injured on the first play of the game. Trades Green, a knee injury in the second half. Over at LouisianaSports.net, we reported on Sunday. Both are expected to miss time. Moore with a high ankle sprain, Green with a sprained knee. Neither is expected to play this week, according to our reports. And quite honestly, if you're going to hold him out against Florida, there's no reason to play him against Southeastern. And so Ole Miss would be the target. Brian Kelly we'll just start there. Brian Kelly did update both of their statuses on Monday. First, Braylon Moore. Here's what Brian Kelly said.
MRIs, were positive. We didn't get the true sense that we have a high ankle sprain with Braylon. There was nothing that gave us that sense that when we looked at the MRI that, hey, this is a tightrope procedure and he's going to be out for, 4 weeks. He's going to be day to day. We'll get him out there tomorrow. We'll see how he feels. He felt better today. So I think we're going to list him as questionable, and that could change to probable as we go through the week. We'll see how he progresses.
And so Braylon Moore out with an ankle injury. Sounds a little more promising. I would be very surprised if Braylon Moore plays this weekend. I'll just say it that way. We'll take Brian Kelly at his word. I'll be surprised if he plays. And then the update on Trades Green.
Trades has a sprain. The good news is it's a sprained MCL. So as you know, those are injuries that you can come back from. And rather quickly. We'll see where he is. We'll list him as questionable and work our way through the week and see where he is at the end of the week.
It didn't look good, obviously, and thankfully it's not season ending, which is the report that we had on Sunday as well. So the Tigers will prepare for Florida, and we'll see what the status is for those two guys. The game itself, it's why I hate these games. There is little to gain, and there is so much to lose. In Florida's case, literally, you lost the game to South Florida. A few observations. I look at that game, and for me, so much of it is execution. And everything always falls back on coaching, because if you look and you say the players didn't execute and they weren't ready to play, well, why weren't they ready to play? Well, the coaches didn't get them ready to play. So ultimately, the puke always goes up the ladder. And yes, the coaches did not have this team ready to play. They deserve the blame. I look at this game, though, at just how close this was to LSU winning and winning comfortably and being the game we all thought it was going to be. Braylon Moore gets injured on the first play of the game. Do you realize after LSU converts on a third down, the fourth play of the game, there was an interception? If Garrett Nussmeier leads Berrien Brown, makes a throw that he could make in his sleep, on the fourth play of the game, LSU's up 7-0. Brown is open on a go right route down the left sideline. Nuss horribly underthrows it. He gets batted into the air and intercepted. So instead of 7-0 interception, all of a sudden, Tech has some life. On LSU's second possession, you drive you're moving the ball again, all the way down to the Louisiana Tech 31. What happens? Illegal formation. Then Xavier Thomas drops the ball over the middle of the field. Instead of having a ball in a goal-to-go situation or in the red zone, you set up for a 51-yard field goal, which Damian Ramos misses. The possession right before the half. You move the ball. You're nearing midfield. First down at the 43. Harlem Berry, false start. He moves into that offset position, leans forward. False start. Now you're back 5 yards. You're behind the sticks. They get a sack, and then you punt. Look at the fourth quarter red zone possession. You drive it down to you have 1st and 10 at the Tech 15-yard line. You go incomplete pass. Xavier Thomas loses 5, sack, then a 46-yard field goal. I mean, you're first down at their 15-yard line, and you go backwards. 10:26 to play in the ball game. You're up 20-0. You're trying to put the game away. First down, false start DJ Chester. You're behind the sticks. You go 3 and out and punt. Like, none of those things have anything to do with Louisiana Tech. None of the things I just mentioned. Nussmeier missing a wide-open Berrien Brown, an illegal formation, a Xavier Thomas drop, a Harlem Berry false start. A DJ Chester false start. Like, none of those things have anything to do whatsoever with Louisiana Tech. It has everything to do with LSU not executing on Saturday. It was very disappointing. Clearly a letdown spot. I thought they would be immune to that because of the 1-0 thing, the veteran nature of this team. I thought they would go out there, be very solid, and just cruise to victory. It didn't happen that way. Now, the defense was outstanding. LSU forced 5 3-and-outs. They also had a 4-play drive and a 5-play drive. Defense was magnificent. When you look at Louisiana Tech's drive chart in that game, Tech's drive chart was punt, 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 end of half, punt, 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 touchdown, punt. And the touchdown came on a busted coverage from Javen Toviano and Jakeem Jackson when the starters were out of the game. The defense was awesome. And I also thought it was really cool to look at the Pro Football Focus grades and see the top 4 defensive grades. Number 1 was Gabe Relaford, and then Mansour Delane, Ahmad Bro, and Don McKinley. 3 of the top 4 were sophomore defensive linemen. Relaford, Bro, McKinley. Homegrown dudes who are being pushed by the portal additions. Like, you went into the portal to get Relaford and Pyburn and Peyton and Jamari Butler and Bernard Gooden to push these guys, and they're the ones who continue to stand out, which I thought was cool. The other thing, too, when you look at those PFF grades and just sort of the way the whole game played out, I think what it really illustrates is just how much depth you have on the defensive line with no drop-off. When you can roll through that many players on the defensive line and continue to get them equal amounts of snaps and not see a drop-off, I think that is super important. For example, Relaford played 27 snaps. Bro, 20 snaps. McKinley, 23 snaps. Butler, 26 snaps. You getting a trend here? Patrick Peyton, 26 snaps. Buddy Mathis played 14 snaps, incidentally. And Brandon Brown had 10 snaps in the game as well. Another freshman got in there late in the game, but still got in. Bernard Gooden, 27 snaps. Jacobian Guillory, 15 snaps. You see my point? Is you've got a bunch of dudes that you can rotate in there freely without a significant drop-off. Now, we're having the opposite conversation at receiver where you're rotating 6 dudes in there and you're not getting as consistent a play, but that's something that they'll have to take a look at. The big question I know everyone has, and maybe I'm burying the lead by not starting with this, is the running game. LSU ran 34 times for 128 yards for an average of 3.8. Now, The sack-adjusted rushing total, meaning if you take out, again, because college football is stupid and they count sack yardage as your rushing total, which is dumb. But if you take out the sacks and just look at rushing, LSU ran for 155 yards, 5 yards per carry. That looks a lot better than 34 for 128. It does. 5 yards per carry looks pretty good. And I know you're going to say, yeah, but you had the 2 long runs. And that's true. Harlan Berry had a 43-yarder. Xavier Thomas had a 48-yarder. But you don't get to take those out. Maybe you set those up with the way you were consistently running throughout. And something we talked about all throughout fall camp, if you were here for our fall camp reports, is how often we saw the LSU defense stuff, 60-yard run by Caden Durham. Stuff, sack, TFL, stuff, 65-yard pass to Berrien Brown. Like, this might just be an offense, be it passing game or running game, that is going to rely on the big play because they're capable of it with so many dynamic players. I absolutely think Braylon Moore's absence hurt the continuity, but I think everybody on that offensive line, including the tight ends, just have to be better. Some people have asked, is it possible that they're doing too much? Maybe. Like, I would lean way more heavily on Hester and Flynn and those guys to talk about that because that's what they know way better. Like, I can't sit here and break down, inside zone, outside zone counter. Like, I don't know any of that. What I know is Caden Durham is an awesome running back. And in this ball game, Caden Durham ran 13 times for 29 yards, and that sucks. I mean, he is a much more capable running back than that. They faced a 3-3-5 stack. It's something you don't often see. So again, go back to coaching. Maybe they didn't prepare this line well enough to be ready to see what they saw. And what I do know is when you're going against a 3-3-5, a lot of times those 2 safeties are close enough to the line of scrimmage that it actually looks like you got 8 in the box, so you don't have numbers. It's hard to run against 8 in the box when you got 5. Leave a tight end. Well, you got 6. You still don't have numbers. Leave 2 tight ends. We got 7 against 8. You still don't have numbers. It's hard to do. Clearly, they were not prepared to do this week against Louisiana Tech, and hopefully that changes with Florida coming in this weekend because it's a massive game against a team that you better believe is going to be ticked off after what happened. I will say one more thing about the running game. You did have a goal-to-go situation where you ran the ball 3 times and scored. You gave it to Caden Durham 1, 2, 3, and he got in the end zone. In the fourth quarter, you had a similar situation. You ran it 3 times and you got stopped. Well, that was Harlan Berry and Caleb Jackson. If you're in that situation Saturday against Florida, Caden Durham's getting the ball. And I would lean more on the result you got with your starting running back in than with your backups. And you scored with the starting running back in that same situation. You ended up kicking a short field goal with the backups in. If you're in a tight ball game, do you trust Caden Durham to get those yards? I would say yes. So just something to see just something to consider as LSU moves to and through the season. But look, they were 5 for 5 in the red zone. They scored on every red zone possession. But you got to convert touchdowns and not field goals. LSU wins 23-7. It was not pretty. I did not love seeing Whit Weeks and his 2 beautiful ACLs on the field with 4 minutes to go against Louisiana Tech. No, I did not want to see that. I wanted to see all of the starters out of the game midway through the third quarter, but it's not how it transpired. So you win the game. It was costly. We'll get updates on Moore and Green as the week goes throughout. As of now, I would not expect them to play against Florida. Maybe they miraculously recover and are able to get out there, which would be awesome. I would not expect it, but I also think LSU is a much better team than Florida, and they got to go win, but they'll have to play much better than they did against Louisiana Tech. All right, it's after further review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, and the official beer of the Tigers. First tailgate weekend this past weekend. So many of you I know had your officially licensed LSU Bud Light cans and aluminum bottles. The white can, an ode, a hat tip to LSU's tradition, wearing the white jerseys at home, which you know I love. So make sure at all your great local retailers, you grab plenty of ice-cold Bud Light to have at your tailgate, your home gate, your game watch party, or if you're out watching at a sports bar or restaurant, wherever you may be, make sure you tell the bartender they got plenty of delicious, ice-cold, refreshing Bud Light, the official beer of the Tigers. All right, it's after further review, y'all. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. Ellen Moore. We missed it in the open. I know you had multiple things playing. Dropped his opener, but I do have some thoughts on the Saints' season opening loss to Arizona. What about? I think about as expected. But we'll dive into that as we continue here on AFR.
After further review.
Y'all, the Baton Rouge home market the real estate market is really starting to heat up, especially with reports of interest rates continuing to tick down. It's only going to keep driving that market up. If you're thinking of selling your home, it's time to position yourself now before the market gets saturated. You want to call Darren James, 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Speaking of agent225.com, that's the newly redesigned agent225.com, where if you're thinking about selling your home, but you're wondering how much your home is worth, you can get that answer in about 30 seconds. As quick as it takes you to type in your address, you can have that answer. Go to agent225.com, agent225.com, hit the home value tab, type in your address, boom. Literally in less than 30 seconds, you'll have your home's value. It's agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
So this is it, 4th down, 4 seconds, final play of the game. Rattler throwing to the end zone, looking for Olave, incomplete, no flags, and that's the way it's gonna end. 20-13. Olave on the far side just didn't have enough room to make the catch.
Made a couple stops towards the end, big field goal block, put ourselves in position to have a chance to tie the game right at the end. And ultimately, the story for us and the lesson for us is you can't beat yourself. 13 penalties, a lot of mistakes in there that we just got to clean up and put ourselves in a much better position to be successful. And so we got a lot of work to do. That's the beauty of this thing. There's a lot of work coming forward to us, and we'll move the page and get ready for San Francisco here shortly.
Kellen Moore, after he dropped his debut as the Saints head coach, 20-13, the Cardinals win it. I wonder what the convo would be like today had Juwan Johnson caught that third down ball at the end of the game. We also don't know what they would have done. Might Moore have kicked the PAT and gone to overtime? Would he have gone for 2 in the win? That's whatever the case may be. That certainly would have led and driven today's conversation. But one of the things that I'm fond of saying is winning masks deficiencies and losing magnifies them. When you win, you're more likely to ignore the things that went wrong and you want to praise the things that went well. When you lose, it's the antithesis of that. I told you all throughout the offseason. I am not going to sit here on Mondays, and scream about results, wins and losses. You're not going to see red-faced rants. I'm not doing that this year. I'm not. I promise. Because I have no expectation of this team of being any good. You have quite literally invested the least amount of your salary cap of all 32 teams in the NFL in the most important position in organized team sports. There's no team in the NFL that has invested less percentage of their salary cap in quarterback than the New Orleans Saints. You do not have a quarterback on the roster that's won a game, ever. So how can we possibly have some realistic expectation of this team doing anything of significance? I don't. So I'm not going to yell about it. They're in a big-time rebuild, reboot, call it whatever you want, of the franchise, of the roster. What I am wanting to see throughout the course of this year is progress with your young players to see if you have cornerstone talent upon which you can build for the future. That's what I want to see. And there was some of that, which I'll get to. What I am interested in is the process of how these games play out and what's developing. And I will criticize things that warrant criticism. For example, you were flagged 16 times in this ball game. You just heard Kellen Moore say 13 penalties. That was 13 accepted penalties. You were flagged 16 times in this game. This is the National Football League. You had an illegal formation on a field goal in the fourth quarter when you had 5 men in the backfield. That is the type of thing I would expect when I go watch a 7th grade CSAL football game, that you don't know how many people need to be on the line of scrimmage. Like, not in the National Football League in the fourth quarter of a Week 1 game. That's inexcusable. Those are the types of things that cannot be tolerated. Cesar Ruiz was flagged 3 times. Former first-round pick, who is objectively one of the worst starters in the NFL at his position. He is a starter. He is objectively one of the worst starters at his position in the NFL. We have a large enough sample size now to know that. Those are the types of things that can happen. The timeout situation at the end of the first half. Maybe Matt Flynn joked about it on Twitter with me. Maybe he didn't. Matt said maybe Kellen Moore didn't realize he actually had the autonomy to call him. Maybe forgot. But at the end of the first half, that is an inexcusable situation. For those who weren't watching the game, Arizona can with the clock is stopped with a minute 57 inside of the 2-minute warning. They run a play to convert a first down with a minute 52 remaining in the first half. So they have a goal-to-go situation in minute 52. The Saints have all 3 timeouts. They could have burned one right there. You say, oh, well, you're not going to burn it on first down. Well, remember, it's a goal-to-go situation. You're not thinking of, oh, you want to wait until second down so you could burn it second, third, and then fourth or have one for the remainder. You burn it right there. Absolutely, because they could score on the next play or 2 plays. And it's exactly what happened. But instead, the Saints didn't use their timeouts. It runs all the way inside of 30 seconds, and the Saints end up taking a knee and running out to run out the clock in the remainder of the first half. Had the Saints used their timeouts there, they could have had a possession at the end of the first half. Who knows? We saw Spencer Rattler very effectively operate a 2-minute offense at the end of the game. Maybe you get a field goal before the end of the half. By the way, that Groupie's shanked 37-yarder, all else equal, at the end of the game, you're not needing a touchdown. A field goal would have won you the game. And one argument I've heard to the contrary is, well, maybe he just doesn't trust his quarterback. Then he does not need to be playing. Spencer Rattler is still a professional quarterback being paid in the regular season of a National Football League game. You cannot give away possessions. Did you watch Buffalo and Baltimore on Sunday Night Football? I understand that's Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. But every possession in the National Football League, where the average margin of victory in this league is somewhere around 3 or 4 points, every possession matters. You can't just, Kellen Moore doesn't need me to preach this to him. He's the head coach of the team. But you can't just say, well, we're not going to use our timeouts. We're not going to have this opportunity to have a possession right now. That's inexplicable. After the game, this is what Kellen Moore said about not using the timeouts.
Yeah, we're close. We talked through it. Getting the ball at the end, the start of the third quarter, they still had all 3 timeouts in their pocket, and so we felt like we'd let it play out and then see on our possession, see if something popped there. And if something pops, we'd keep it alive and put ourselves in position. But definitely something that we talked about.
Unacceptable. That's unacceptable. It is unacceptable to just go to the half sitting on all 3 of those timeouts and giving away an opportunity for possession. By the way, the reason every team defers except for LSU with Brian Kelly, who loves to receive. Now, in fairness, this year, both times they've received, but the other team won the toss and deferred because that's what you do, because you want the opportunity to go back-to-back at the end of the first half and have the extra possession in the second half. And lo and behold, look at what happened. The Saints had the opportunity to go back-to-back at the end of the first half, start of the second, and they had the extra possession in the second half, which damn near gave them the opportunity to win the game. So it's why you do it. But you spat in the face of that opportunity. That's unacceptable. A couple of things, though, that there were good things. Look, the 10-play touchdown drive in the first half was fantastic. You did not face a third down on that 10-play touchdown drive. Now, Spencer Rattler threw an interception that was wiped out because of an illegal contact away from the ball. Sometimes you get lucky. That was one of those where he threw a bad ball that was intercepted. He got lucky, got another shot, led a touchdown drive. I thought Alvin Kamara's touchdown run on that drive was outstanding. He looked like vintage Alvin Kamara. There were things where you responded well in the face of adversity. Right at the start of the third quarter, Benson rips off the 52-yarder, and the defense stiffened and held him to a field goal. By the way, Isaac Yiadom, you have got to get Benson on the ground or out of bounds. It is unacceptable that you let him rip off a 52-yarder when you've got him pinned on the sideline. That goes to the conversation we're having. Like, do you believe Isaac Yiadom is an NFL starting caliber cornerback? Probably not, which is why you're not going to win a lot of games when you got dudes like that running out there. And listen, hat tip to the Cardinals. Listen, we talked about McBride last week. He's probably the best tight end that not enough people talk about. He was an 1,100-yard receiver a season ago at tight end. On that drive in the first half, the drive that finished with Marvin Harrison Jr.'s touchdown, they converted a 3rd and 10 and a 3rd and 12 on passes to McBride. He's fantastic. Hat tip. Like, he's going to be a problem for a lot of teams. But there was other good. Cam Jordan, increased workload with no Chase Young, 1.5 sacks on the day. one of the highest graded defenders on Pro Football Focus. How about Brian Brazee's block field goal? That block gave you look, that would have been a 2-score game would have been over. The block gave you the opportunity to put together the late drive to go and potentially tie it. Arizona, after the defense got the stop, the Saints defense got the stop on Arizona's first possession, Arizona scored on 4 straight possessions after that. Finally, in that third quarter, the defense started to get off the field, which when you're down 20-10, you're down 2 scores, like you can only get back in the game if your defense starts getting stops and giving the ball back to the offense without the lead growing. Makes sense. #math. Your defense started to get off the field. But the flip side of it there was not great. Like Kai Kroger had a beautiful punt that he angled out at the 6-yard line. Awesome. You've got him pinned deep. There was a holding at the 1-yard line. Looked like you might get a safety. They ruled it at the 1-yard line. In the end, you let him off the hook. They ended up converting 2 first downs, 9 plays, 35 yards. They flipped the field on you when you were trying to make a comeback when you had him pinned deep. We talked about Juwan Johnson not coming down with that ball on the 3rd down play at the end of the game. At some point, listen, Spencer Rattler, like the receivers have to make plays to help him out. I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not a quality starting quarterback in the NFL yet, if he ever will be. But sometimes guys have to make plays for him. Chris Olave had a drop. Juwan Johnson, make that contested catch. Vele on the sideline when they drew the PI. Yeah, they got the PI. Make the catch. Make a contested catch. Just something that these receivers did not help their quarterback with. Very disappointing to see Taliesin Fuaga leave the game with injury. See what the update is there. The flip side of it is I thought Kelvin Banks was great. Rookie, left tackle, first-round pick, 9th overall, making his first career start, and you go an entire game without calling his name? Yeah, pretty good. Go be quiet over there at left tackle so no one ever talks about you. That's what you love to see. A quick thought on Rattler and his debut. He didn't cost you the game, but I think it's pretty clear he's not capable of winning you the game. 2-minute drive was great. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. Pro Football Focus charted 2 turnover-worthy plays. It's a stat they do like where it's whether it's a turnover or not, it's a play that deems it could be turnover-worthy. He only had 2 of those. For a young guy, I can live with that. Protect the football, give yourself an opportunity. They only charted 1 drop. Pro Football Focus did, and they offer what they call an adjusted completion percentage, so that adjusts for throwaways and drops. Spencer Rattler's his completion percentage in the game was not good. Spencer Rattler he completed. I'm sorry. Thought I had it. He completed 58% of his passes. The adjusted completion rate from Pro Football Focus was 68.3%. So you take away the drops and the throwaways, they say he actually completed 68% of his passes. So, okay, that's manageable. He was also pressured. Pro Football Focus charted 14 pressures for a rookie quarterback. Well, excuse me, a second-year quarterback. First time as a full-time starter. That's a lot of pressure for him to deal with in that situation. Line's got to be better. We'll see if they will be as they move throughout. But all things considered, the defense played well. You were in a position to try to tie or win the game at the end of the game. In the end, you ended up losing. I think this is going to be a pretty familiar blueprint of games we see throughout the season for these New Orleans Saints. You just don't have the quarterback capable of putting you in advantageous situations throughout to go win the game, and you have a lot of B and C players that are starting for you right now. The key is I want to see Kelvin Banks be really good. I want to see Kool-Aid McKinstry prove he can be a number 1 cornerback in the NFL. I want to see these receivers start to make some contested catches. Those are the types of things. I want to see Kendre Miller continue to run hard the way he did on Sunday against the Cardinals. Those are the types of things I want to see from this team throughout the year, regardless of what the final score says. Now, that ain't going to be that way forever. Like, when you get to next year and you start to see more expectation, like, you're going to have to start winning these games. But for now, are you seeing building blocks? And there were a few of those on Sunday, despite the loss. And someone please let Ellen Moore know that the timeouts are there for him to use.
Ellen Moore.
Can we send him a cookie bouquet, Muse? Can we get a cookie bouquet sent to Airline Drive in Metairie, Ellen Moore, care of the New Orleans Saints, from After Further Review, where it says, Dear Ellen, congrats on your debut. Remember, you can use timeouts. Can we do that?
A cookie bouquet is what we want? Edible arrangement, something like that?
Yeah. Cookie bouquet. Yeah. Let's do that. All right, it's After Further Review. Tomorrow, Supper Club's closed today, y'all. Tomorrow is Dine with 9, the event I've been telling you about. Joe Burrow Foundation, 9% of all of the proceeds from Supper Club, 9% of all sales, Tuesday, September the 9th, 9/9, at Supper Club, going to the Joe Burrow Foundation. So if you've never been to Supper Club, you want to try it out, here's a great opportunity. If you've been and been looking for an excuse to go back, here's a great opportunity on Tuesday. Maybe just playing with your coworkers after work to pop into Supper Club, have a glass of wine, a cocktail, a great whiskey drink at the bar, maybe some apps, whatever, or have your whole meal there. Great opportunity. Tuesday, Dine with 9 at Supper Club. 9% of all the sales going to benefit the Joe Burrow Foundation. Tomorrow, 9/9, September 9th, at Supper Club. You can get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Quick break. We'll go around the SEC. Muse, Paulie, and I have to get to what we learned from the football weekend. Peter Burns in 25 minutes. Ton to do as we unpack a busy football weekend. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, if you're a business owner and you're struggling to find the right people to help with your productivity, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Been telling you about Glow Resources for years now, and I'm thrilled to sing their praises because Glow Resources is a local company that has built a national book of business, but maintained their headquarters right here in Baton Rouge. Home base is still Baton Rouge, New Orleans. Now, I know, I see our metrics, how many of you listen or watch in Houston and Dallas and Atlanta and all over. And Glow Resources services all those places. They got offices in Miami and Orlando and Houston and all over. And they can help your business no matter where you are and no matter where you need employees, wherever the job may be. And if it's skilled blue collar or C-level management, anything, they can help you. But start by visiting them online at glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions, glowresources.com.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
Nussmeier, who gets the football out of the shotgun, looks right, looks back left. Now center of the field throws, and this time right on the S and LSU touchdown, Fighting Tigers. He finds Nick Anderson.
Cool to see Nick Anderson get his first touchdown as a Tiger. Interestingly, 3 catches all within the first 2 drives, and then was not involved the rest of the way. It's going to be interesting watching this offense because there are so many weapons and so many options that I almost feel like they're doing too much to try to get so many guys involved. And eventually, and maybe this is the time of the year to do it, when you have non-conference games, things like that, but eventually it feels like you're going to have to pare down those rotations and identify, look, kind of like they did against Clemson. I mean, nine different players caught a pass, but that was your running backs. When you talk about the receivers, it was a heavy dose of Aaron Anderson and Bauer Sharp in that game. Now, in this game, Berrien Brown had 9, Aaron Anderson had 9, and that may be how it starts to transpire. But cool to see Nick Anderson get out there and show what he was capable of, man, because he was had a couple of impressive catches and got open for that touchdown there at the start of the game. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Windows door siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Busy weekend around the conference. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Texas Longhorns.
Steve Sarkisian shutting down rumors about an Arch Manning injury. Some of those rumors started circulating Saturday after he was wincing, throwing the ball on the sideline. Sarkisian said, quote, he doesn't have any when asked what his injury was. Texas beat San Jose State 38-7 over the weekend. Manning threw for 292 and 4 touchdowns.
The Florida Gators.
A couple of notes here from Gainesville. Florida Edge, LJ McCrary, is going to undergo foot surgery. He is going to be done for the season. Former 5-star prospect. He was injured in the second half of the game, the loss to South Florida this past weekend. So that's a significant loss defensively for Florida. Billy Napier, meanwhile, says he will remain the play caller, has not considered giving up play calling duties. Florida manages 355 yards of offense. They were actually outgained by South Florida on Saturday.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama had a number of starters out with injuries for the win against ULM. Ryan Williams out with concussion. Tim Keenan with that lower body injury. Jam Miller still out with the collarbone issue. Jamarian Latham, a lower body injury. Kalen DeBoer was asked about their status Monday. Said those guys are day-to-day before the home game against Wisconsin this weekend. DeBoer specifically mentioned Miller, said they're optimistic he could be available for his season debut against the Badgers.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Mark Stoops gave an injury update on Zach Calzada. Left the loss. Actually, both quarterbacks were injured in the Kentucky-Ole Miss game on Saturday. But Calzada, Stoops said he's unsure where things stand with Calzada. They will not practice on Monday. If he can't go, Cutter Boley will play against Eastern Michigan.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Jeff Lebby coming off a huge win, dramatic win against number 12 Arizona State. But gave a couple of injury updates on defensive lineman Will Whiston, offensive lineman Blake Steen. Paulie, did that hit you in the head? Okay, so I saw it bounce. I know where it went. Sorry. Whitson exited the game against Arizona State in the second quarter. Steen was unable to dress for the game against Arizona State. Jeff Lebby, giving the update, said both are done for the season with those injuries.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
2026 tight end Caden Ramsey has committed to South Carolina. Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Virginia Tech were the other finalists. 6'5", 203, the 28th best player in South Carolina, the 30th best tight end in the country. He's picked the Gamecocks.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
And Ole Miss and Pitt have finalized a home-and-home series. First game will be next season, 2026, in Oxford. And then Ole Miss will make the return trip in 2027 to Pitt. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Always love telling you about our friends at Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. If you want to learn more, olrmc.com/LSU is the website. olrmc.com/LSU. When you think of it this way, you know, the unfortunate situation where Braylon Moore is injured, Trey'Dez Green is injured, and the physicians that run out on the field, those are Our Lady of the Lake physicians. They're the championship health partners that take care of the LSU athletes, the champions on the field, but also the LSU student body with the contract with the Student Health Center. And everyday champions like you and me. I've told you my personal physician, my primary care physician is Dr. Curtis Chastain with the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. We take Drew, sees several specialists at the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, the state-of-the-art standalone children's hospital in Baton Rouge. Bottom line is, whether it's your primary care, if it's heart health, if it's stroke, if it's cancer, whatever, pediatrics, whatever it may be, you can trust the championship health partners of LSU. That's Our Lady of the Lake. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together, we roar. Okay, we're putting a button here on hour number one when we come back. Every Thursday throughout football season, Muse, Paulie, and I give you 3 things that we're watching during the football weekend. When we come back on Monday, we recap them. So we'll do what we learned when we return to wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
Great time of year, y'all. A little nip in the air. Low mid 60s this morning when we woke up. Fall is coming. Great time to get by Clegg's Nursery. It is time to begin the decorating. I got a note from Miss Teresa over at Clegg's earlier today. She said, Matt, tell Erica the pumpkins will be here later this week. Let the decorating begin. Y'all, I love the fall decor. Pumpkins, hay bales, scarecrows, squash, gourds, all the things that you use to decorate during this time of year. During fall, it's all there now, getting there now at Clegg's. Time to plant your fall garden. Fall is the time to plant your fruit trees as well. A little early for plant trees and shrubs, maybe like the middle end of next month. But those fruit trees, it's time to get by Clegg's Nursery. Buckbusters, Mo Bucks, deer corn, rice bran, all that stuff. They got it. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery.
after further review. Presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
I seen him slap D-Hop, which I wasn't really. He slapped me, and he said he talking. So I just forgot where I was for a little bit, But you gotta think in those situations. You got security out there, let security handle it. But I just let my emotion get the best of me. But hopefully it don't happen again. I learned from that.
That was Lamar Jackson after the incident at the end of the Sunday Night Football game. Amazing game with the Bills and the Ravens. There's actually odds out right now as to whether or not Lamar Jackson will get fined or suspended for shoving the fan. He's minus 300 to get fined. The fine amount over under is $25,000. What do you think? What do we think? Fine? Yes.
Yeah, he'll get fined. I'll say it's going to be under that, though, just because of the circumstances.
You'll go under.
I'll take the under.
The Jalen Carter fine amount, by the way, for spitting on Dak Prescott, over under is $35,000.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go under on that one as well.
And there's also odds if the Bills fan will be banned from the stadium.
He will not.
Yes is minus 200. No is plus 150.
I'll take the plus money there. It's Bills Mafia, dude. They want that guy in there. You kidding me?
Maybe they publicly say he's banned, but they're privately like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, look, if he's not allowed back at the Bills Stadium, Philly will take him.
We're so offended by the actions of this fan. They're like, meanwhile, they're like dapping him up.
Yeah, exactly. The wink, just so offended.
It's the whole. We are so displeased. We have no idea why our fans are behaving this way with the head nod. All right, let's get to what we learned.
We watched. Now, let's review.
Well, Muse, normally I'd let you start, but since one of Paulie's was the game we just referenced, let's let him go first.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, so my game to watch was Ravens-Bills. And to be honest with you, I missed all the excitement because it was Opal's bedtime.
Oh, no!
I missed the entire thing.
Wait, hold on. It was not Opal's bedtime. The game ended, I was watching it. It was almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it was late.
Opal was long asleep by then.
Yeah.
Let's just acknowledge it was your bedtime.
I also fell asleep on the floor while getting her to bed.
Okay, that's more like it.
So yeah,
Old man Paul going to sleep at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Great. Paul, you missed a hell of a game.
I did.
Paulie's what to watch. He did not watch.
He didn't see it.
I saw the highlights. I walked back in my room. They were kicking the game-winning field goal.
That was an amazing game. Incredible.
So, yeah, the Bills were down 16 points, 4 minutes to go. Derek Henry had a monster touchdown.
They were down 15 and one vote. They were down 15 and scored 16 in the last 4 minutes. I watched it.
What Matt said.
Yeah, I watched it. Hey, let's go. We're short on time. Hit the thing, you Muse. Go.
I was watching the Lions offense versus the Packers without Ben Johnson for the first time, and
Paul fell asleep on his what to
1 out of 4 in the red zone. Not good for the Lions. The 46 rushing yards might be more concerning, but let's give Green Bay some credit. That's a really, really good defense. To be determined on the Lions offense.
Friday was Chiefs-Chargers. Told you someone had to not be a coward and pick the Chargers to win that division.
You did say that, yeah.
But I picked the Chiefs.
And then,
then I picked the Chiefs. I did. But the Chargers kicked the crap out of the Chiefs. They're coming, man. I'm telling you.
I just continue to be very impressed with Iowa State. That was a really nice win for them on Iowa. I mean, Phil Steele told us about it's the second week after the Ireland trip. They didn't really look phased. It hit the under as always. Just Iowa State, man. I'm impressed. Really impressed.
I was watching Aaron Rodgers' debut for the Steelers. He took it to his old team, the New York Jets. He threw for 244 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 in the last 50 seconds. Rodgers was asked after the game if this win was a little more satisfying. He said, quote, "I was happy to beat everyone associated with the Jets."
So, yes.
Michigan, Oklahoma. Bryce Underwood looked like a guy making his first career start on the road as a true freshman. And John Mateer looks like he may actually be really good. For my questions about which of these quarterbacks everyone's hyping might actually be good, the answer could be John Mateer.
It's going to be a really long year for Cam Ward, as expected. That was not a great debut. Less than 50%, just over 100 yards. Didn't throw a touchdown, although he didn't throw an interception either, but he was sacked 6 times. He's going to be black and blue.
My last one was actually tonight's game. I was watching J.J. McCarthy's debut for the Vikings. He obviously missed last year with his torn meniscus. So can he and the Vikings continue their hot streak from last year?
And 7 head coaching debuts in the NFL. Mike Vrabel lost. Kellen Moore lost. Aaron Glenn lost. Schottenheimer lost. Liam Cohen and Pete Carroll won. Now, Pete Carroll beat Vrabel, and the other is Ben Johnson, who plays tonight in the game Paulie just mentioned with the Bears, hosting the Vikings on Monday Night Football, 7:15 Central Time on ABC ESPN from Soldier Field in Chi-Town. All right, y'all. Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break. Sports Center's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. Peter Burns of the SEC Network will join us, tell us what we should have been watching this weekend around the league. Don't you move.
AFR.
Rouse's is helping you cover the spread all season long. Oh, yeah. We're talking about your tailgate, your home gate, your game watch, whatever it is. Whether you're watching your purple and gold Saturdays or your Houdat New Orleans Saints Sundays, get by Rouse's. They got everything you need. You need beer? Got it. Gigantic selection. Bourbon? Got it. Gigantic selection. Wine? Got it. Gigantic selection. I love their buy four, save more as well at Rouse's. If you love wine, the more you buy, the more you save. So you can try a lot of different interesting wines if you're interested in that. Also, let me not get distracted. Remember, you want to buy some meat to throw on the grill? Rouse's. You want them to do it for you? Great. Party platters, game day trays, if it's cheese trays, fruit trays, sandwich trays, your meat pies, ribs, drumettes, they'll take care of all of it for you. It's at Rouse's, helping you cover the spread this football season. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.